Welcome to Tag Happy Tips. Today we're going to be talking about the Motion 5 Apple software and the Scribble effect, or really how powerful the Scribble effect is, and it really is one of the fastest workflows out there. So I'm just opening up Motion now, and as you can see, this is what the final product is going to look like. A Scribble effect text. I'm just going up to the layer that I want to be working on, going down into the viewer window and selecting on the T icon, the text tool. I just double clicked where I wanted to place that, and I'm just typing out welcome to. I'm now just double clicking on welcome to before going up into the inspector window, followed by the text, down to the size. It's going to get it to a size that I like. After that, I'm going to move across to the properties tab, down to rotation, and rotate the text to the angle desired. Just going down to the viewer window now and selecting on the, making sure that the transform tool is selected. Just clicking on welcome to and placing that where I'd like. Going down to the text tool and clicking. Once again, typing. This time I'm going to be typing a paradise. Double clicking on that, making sure I'm in the inspector, followed by the text menu. And I'm just going to go down to the font and pick a desired font. Now just over to the size, and I'm just going to increase that to where I'd like. Back in the viewer window, I'm just going to select on the transform tool, and I'm just going to now move the paradise text and place it where I'd like. I'm now selecting on the paint stroke tool and going up to the HUD window. Now that's kind of like a quick access menu in Motion, where it kind of gives you the main features of any given kind of filter or function. I just want to increase the text size to roughly match the width of that text. As you can see there, it's about right, and I just want to make sure that white is selected, and there's a good reason why I want to be using white for this, which I'll be explaining later. I'm just going to effectively start tracing over that font with my pen tool. I'm just going to increase the speed here. We don't need to be watching myself go through all of this, but literally it takes me about 30 seconds. If we look back over on the layers tab, we can kind of now see all my different pen strokes that I've just generated. I'm just going to select on the paradise text itself and just untick that. We now no longer need to see that. And I'm just kind of scrubbing through the timeline, and you can kind of see, what effectively I've written with that pen tool. Just going over to the library now, going into behaviors, followed by a shape, followed by a randomized shape. Now this is the behavior that gives us that handwriting effect. Randomly animates the control points of a shape or a paint stroke, in this case, over time. I'm just going to kind of drag that and place it on the first paint stroke and give that a quick skim. And as you can kind of see, it's been animated a bit too strong for my liking. Now, I've done this a few times already, and I've already got a personal preference that I like. So I'm just going to select on that behavior, make sure the HUD window's up, and I'm just going to change the amount from 10 down to 5, keeping the frequency at 10. Now you can obviously experiment that with yourself. Another way to kind of get into that is to go into the inspector window and then go down to behaviors, which effectively is the same as using the HUD. I'm just going to right click on randomize shape and duplicate that, and then drag a duplicate copy up to the layer above, and likewise once again. Now, a very powerful feature with Motion 5, it allows you to kind of save presets that you can use between different projects. So in this case, I've just gone up to the library, down to favorites tab, and I can effectively, I'm just going to rename this AAA randomized shape, just to kind of keep things tidy and easy to follow. And then I'm just going to kind of drag that across to the favorites folder. Give it a sec to load, and it should load at the top, being AAA. And there we go. So anytime you now open Motion from now on, you've got your kind of favorite presets. Once they're there, and I know in the future that that's what I want to be using for text, I can effectively just drag that across to all my different layers. Now Motion doesn't link you to do a mass drag. Now Motion, if you are listening, that would be a cool feature, a mass drag. But in this case, we're going to have to literally drag the behavior to one layer at a time, which in the greater schemes of things is much quicker than manually scribble writing every frame. Now that all the layers have got the random shape effect, I'm just going to click on randomize shape, go into inspector behaviors, and then go down to random seed and change the random seed of every behavior. This gives each randomized shape behavior a slightly different characteristics within that parameter though of the amount of 5 and the frequency of 10. And there we go. That's kind of what it's now going to start to look like. Now, this is the reason why I've kept it white. So I'm just going to select on all of these, selecting on the top layer, going down and shift clicking on the bottom one, and then right clicking, which I'm then going to group, and then label the group to keep the work tidy. I'm just going to label that Paradise. Alright, once selected, I'm then going to go up. Now as you can see, if I wanted to change colors, I'm going to have to go into each individual layer or stroke to do so. Now that's very time consuming. There is another way to do this, and that is to select on the layer, go into library, click on filters, click on colors, and then go down to Colorize. I'm going to drag the Colorize filter over to my layer, and by default it gives us a nice little skin tone there. But once we click on Colorize as a filter, and either go into the HUD or into Inspector followed by filters, we can then change the color. In this instance, I'm going to run with yellow. It's kind of what I like. Let's just kind of do a scrub across the bottom, get an idea, make sure it's all there. And let's just give that a small play. Now this is a 10-second clip that I've literally done a scribble effect on in 6 minutes. Now if you were to hand write effectively 300 frames out, you'd be looking about 30 minutes. So this is a very powerful feature from Motion 5. And with only a very small amount of effort, you can plug your scribble effects into other software like DaVinci Resolve or Final Cut Pro or Premiere. And this is only touching the surface of what Motion 5 can do with scribble effect.